Welcome to day 40 of the New Testament by Pentecost Reading Challenge. This is the last assigned reading. We've made it. Today we turn to the letter of 2 Peter. 2 Peter is, by strong scholarly consensus, the last of the New Testament letters to be written. Some dated as late as 150 AD, a few as early as 120, but nearly all within that range. It references 1 Peter, refers to the letters of Paul as an established collection, and uses phrases from Jude. It also offers further explanation for the delay of Jesus' second coming. There are no geographical clues at all on where this was written. Here we find the scriptural basis for the saying that God's time, a day, is like 1,000 years, as well as the argument that God has extended the time for repentance. The scoffers want proof, evidence, and visible signs. Does that sound familiar? Faith and hope are not about proof. The certainty of faith is that assurance, confidence, and a peace that surpasses all understanding. Some, even today, are troubled by the apparent misunderstanding in Paul and other early Christians' expectations of an imminent second coming. As we saw in Revelation and discussion of the Left Behind novels, many are sure that that's still near. My own faith suggests that Jesus is present with us now, and that Jesus comes again at each of our passings. I find that enough. While there may indeed be some final day, I find theology based on that far too fear-based, and in conflict with the repeated message of both the Old and New Testament that calls us to be not afraid. God has, indeed, given us all that is needed for life. With this reading, it is finished. We made it. The entire New Testament in 40 days. Congrats. We still have a week till Pentecost in 2020. I encourage you to use that time to look back at texts that puzzled you or delighted you, maybe a day when you weren't too focused when you were reading, and immerse yourself again in that text. I encourage you to ask questions, talk with others about your experience. I encourage you to continue reading, both revisiting these texts and reading commentaries. Volumes have been written on each of these daily readings. You'll find a variety of viewpoints. I find Marcus Borg's viewpoint and approach generally persuasive, but he's certainly not the only scholar wrestling with these texts, and I don't agree with him on everything. I've also enjoyed the work in particular of N.T. Wright, a friend and frequent critic of Marcus Borg, who has written a series called New Testament for All, wonderful commentaries that are quite accessible. If you haven't taken a disciple or an alpha course, reading through these texts with a group over an extended period of time, that might be something you want to look into. Many of those are 34 weeks long, but you'll find the reading pace of those classes that many find daunting somewhat relaxed after what you've just accomplished. Blessings on your continued reading and worship and your continued journey of faith. Thanks for being a part of this challenge. I had a blast putting it together.